Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I thought I'd do an experiment. I've been watching some videos of people painting bubbles, and I thought I'd give it a shot myself. And I'm not sure I was totally successful in this, but I thought I'd share it with you anyway. I've got to say I've seen better bubbles, other people's videos, but for a first-time bubble painter, I think I did reasonably well. Most of the bubble videos that I've watched have used a plain black background, and I like a blue background, but I did add some other colours, a brilliant blue and a sort of pale lilac, purpley lilac colour. And for the dark, I added raw umber, which I mixed in with the French ultramarine blue. And I sort of just, using a crisscross stroke, put that all over a panel, a canvas panel. And I used a powder brush and smoothed it all to make a soft background for my bubbles. You can see that adding the raw umber has given a little depth to the painting. You feel that you could go into it now, and I really like that effect. I get powder brushes from the dollar store. You need a number of them because once they're wet they're really quite useless, so you need a nice dry powder brush to do this. For perfect circles, I used the lids of various items I found around my studio, some glue tubes, paint tubes, a bathroom tissue roll, and I think that was quite successful. I couldn't have done it freehand, I know that. Now here's where I feel I could have done better. I used a flat brush with titanium white and painted around the edges of each lid, one at a time. And I think I should have done that more carefully because I didn't get a perfectly even circle. And I had to take a wet paintbrush and swipe round to try and remove some of the dodgy edges. I advise using an odd number of each size circle because I think it's more interesting that way. There may be a rule about using odd numbers in paintings. I'm not sure what it is, but I always use odd numbers whatever I'm painting. I didn't like the bathroom tissue circles. I thought they were too rough and I ended up taking those out. I used a wet tissue to wipe out the circle, and then I used French ultramarine blue just to smooth over that area where they had been. So I ended up with a fair number of bubbles, all of different sizes. I think I had 4 different sizes, and that gave me lots to practice with. My largest bubble was a can of cat food, and I think I only put 2 or 3 of those in. I don't know how many bubbles I ended up with, but it was enough. And I overlapped a couple of them, I think, like you see when you look at soap bubbles, and you get clusters of them. It's okay to overlap things in your paintings. It adds depth to the picture. Using a large round brush, I'm adding a swipe of colour into each of the bubbles. And I think this may be another area that I did incorrectly. I think I should have added a swipe of colour on each side, or maybe something in the middle. I'll have to do these again at some point. I think I definitely could have done them better. I used a wet brush with no paint on it to just swipe around the edge, just to sort of blend it in a little bit. I think I actually went back afterwards and did that to most of them. Some of the colours were transparent, so I mixed them with titanium white to give them depth and make them a little brighter. I think at this stage they are beginning to take on that bubble quality. I think when I added the stark white at the end, they looked even more like bubbles, but even at this stage they look quite bubble-esque, if that's a word. I thought I'd get braver with my colours, and I added pink and yellow to my palette. The yellow was very transparent and didn't show up the first swipe. I had to mix titanium white with that to get any depth of colour. Since I did this, I've had some other ideas of what to put in bubbles to make them look bubbly, and I might try some gold next time. That might make it really lively. I do like the effect of the yellow. To put in a brighter reflection, I used a small flat brush and straight titanium white. And I think this is what's going to make it look like a real bubble. This is a little trick I use when I paint glass vases. I put a reflection of a window, 4 little window panes, and I think that makes things look glassy and reflective. This is where I took a plain wet brush, no paint in it whatsoever, and just smoothed over the edges just to sort of blend it in. I'm painting in acrylics, so I was lucky that the paint hadn't dried because it had gone on quite thin and should have been dried, but I was just very lucky. It hadn't dried and I was able to blend that paint in. I'm using a liner brush and titanium white, and I'm going to attempt to close the edges of the circle. If you have a steady hand, this is quite easy to do, but I'm not sure I'm quite steady enough to do this. But I will take a wet brush around after and clean up any spots that are rough if I can. I do think it's looking better, and I like my bubbles against the blue background. I feel the background has some depth to it. They look like they're floating in space, these bubbles. Well, I think I've overworked them here and they're losing their translucency. You can do that, overwork a painting, and I have to make myself stand back sometimes. But I think that bubbles are something I need to continue to experiment with and see if I can't make them a little more translucent and exciting. Well, that's it for my bubble experiment. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, share and subscribe. That helps my channel grow, and I'd really appreciate it if you could find time to do that. And I'll think of something else to paint, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.